blessed because the people I started off with, I still have them, and I've been in a year. For one, I work in my store side by side with my girls, so I have the respect. I don't come in the store as a boss. You know what I mean? I tell them I don't want to be the boss. I want one of you guys to be the boss. I am just the leader. I'm just here to lead you guys to success. I know that some of you may leave me, but I'm here to create leaders. So I try to create a sense to the girls, have a sense of a loyalty to me. So if they do decide to leave, or they feel like, oh, I want to go and do this, they feel so bad about it that they come and talk to me first. And then we talk about it. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, this is my store. No, this is our store. I pump the girls up. Like I said, some of the girls had never even had their makeup done professionally or had a professional photo shoot. So I invest in my girls, because without the girls, I don't have a store. And I honestly think that they want to see me win. I was just honest with them when we have our talks and our meetings. I was just completely honest with them. Like, this is my baby. Like, I've invested everything in here. So I don't want anybody in here that doesn't want to be here. I'm not forcing anybody to stay. Don't come in here and sabotage what I'm working on. Like, team bonding made the girls, I don't know, it's so weird. It's almost like a little sorority. Once a month, and they look forward to it. People post like, how do you get people to fill in? I have set up a receptionist group me and then a group me for the sugaristas, and they pretty much cover each other's shift. Like, I'm just really blessed. I don't have those problems. So far, we've did Stars and Stripes, which is a game place, and we broke up into teams and competed in bowling, but the bowling activity was like a team building activity. Yeah, they actually have a team building program for companies. We did that. We did aerial yoga, where you kind of swing from the ceiling and the ribbons. We did that, and that was team building, because some of the girls had to help some of the girls, in the ribbon, and we're not going to move on to the next thing until everybody can do this move. So it made everybody help the person, so it made the girls interact instead of just being employees and passing each other in the salon. It made them interact with each other. We did a cigar lounge where we smoked cigars and had drinks. When I had a psychologist come in that time, and the girls got to tell me feedback about the store, like, what do you guys think I could do to make it better? Like, what is your issue with the back? What is your issue with the front? How can we both make each other happy? And the girls got to voice their opinions in a safe place. And after that, the girls were like, oh, this was amazing. Because some of the girls in my store just moved to Huntsville, so they don't know anyone. So they felt like they have a sense to, like, this is their family. I mean, we're all that they know is the girls that are in the store. So they got to tell like little stories about themselves, really got to bond with each other, other than, hey, I'm a sugarista. They told about their families. I mean, it got really deep, honestly. We did a sip and paint. The girls really liked that. So we do something fun, but in the mix of us doing something fun, we do something serious. Like my next team bonding, we're going to do some training. Go over techniques, let me see how you're doing, go over pitches. I'm really big on the pitch when you're in the room with the client. Like, you have to give the client knowledge. So I always tell them that you are an esthetician, you're a sugarista, you are a professional. So when you walk into your room, you almost want your client to feel like they're at a doctor's appointment. Like, it's that serious. Like, I'm the professional. This is what you should do. We don't just remove hair here. We also treat the moo-moo. And this is what we do. Your next visit, I'm not asking you to get extractions. I'm telling you, you're going to have to get extractions. Your next visit, we're going to do a detox mask. Like, if you talk to your client that way and take your position serious and own your position as a professional, they're not going to ask you what to do. They're going to do what you tell them to do. So it's all about my girls. I invest in my girls, create opportunity for them to learn. And the things that we do with team bonding is not just stuff that benefits sugaring, it's stuff that will benefit them in a lifetime. So they feel like I care. And I'm going to tell you, with the staff, I tried Indeed and I got a few off of there, but I handpicked my girls. Most of my girls were servers. So if you just get lucky and happen to find a server that's a cosmetologist or an esthetician, they already have customer service down pat. One of my girls was a bartender and she's a cosmetologist. I'm like, hey, I'm taking you out of here. You're coming to work for me. I have all the ones that I started with. My very first girl just left last Thursday. Her husband retired and she left last Thursday. But other than that, I still have everybody. So I handpicked my girls. I wanted a woman, when a woman walks in the store, she sees herself. So I wanted all shapes and sizes and all shades of the rainbow. So I didn't want just, I'm a black woman, so I just didn't want a black store. You know what I mean? Or I didn't want a white Caucasian store because I'm black and I feel like white is right. You know, I wanted everybody in there. I even have one of my receptionists, she speaks Spanish. She's a Hispanic girl. So when my Hispanic customers come in, some of them don't even speak English, but because they see themselves, they smile when they come in there, and even though they don't know what I'm saying and I don't know what they're saying, they give me a hug. I have created an environment where women feel safe, because you got to think about it. You're coming in there and you're busting it open. So, you know, they have to feel safe. And I know that because of that, and I'm the first sugaring company that came to Huntsville, they're going to support me. Like, I've had people come in and say, hey, I'm never going anywhere else. I don't care who comes in and out of here. I love you. You know what I mean? So they love my sugaristas, but they love me too. They want to see me win. So I share my story with all the women, you know, because I was divorced and started out with $0, and I pretty much revamped myself. So I'm a real person, so I share real stories, and I hear all kinds of stuff in the store. And when I first started, I remember Andrea saying, hey, we want to be able to put notes in, so when people come in, it's more personable, and we do that. So birthdays, anniversaries, babies, we just got back from Aruba, like, we are all up in their business. So they just feel a part of Sugaring NYC.
So kind of the one thing that we do to make sure we have low turnover is to make sure everyone has my phone number. That if you scale to many businesses, maybe that's not the proper thing to do. But at this time, if someone needs to text me, I text them within the hour, and making sure they have access to you if there's anything wrong with the salon. Probably about every quarter, I go around, or if I'm in the salon, I'm just asking people how things are going. Do we need to change anything? Just to make sure that everyone's happy. And then lastly, I think also with the low turnover comes the initial part of hiring. The more you interview people, I've come to realize that I mainly hire for personality, because they can get trained on how to sugar. So if they're easy to talk to, it seems like they're gonna be easy to work with, and they're not gonna be confrontational with people, they pretty much I can figure that out within the first 5-10 minutes of an interview. And that's kind of how we hire now. We don't hire based on previous experience at all. If you're new out of school, we mainly hire just because if you're a cool person to talk to and you're going to be easy to talk to in the future. And that's kind of led to our low turnover, because then we can get a good culture going on in the salon and not much confrontation between estheticians on a day-to-day basis. I don't really like working the front desk too much anymore, just because women tend not to, just it's the way it is. They don't want to talk about their services and stuff like that with a male. I've kind of come to realize that, and that's fine. And so what we do is we also train every one of our estheticians on front desk, just in case they need to run front desk. I just treat everyone the same, whether you're a female, whether you're the front desk, receptionist, esthetician, manager, I don't really care. It's just kind of being open with people, being nice to everyone, and treating everyone with respect, and then they'll do the same back to you. I've never had an instance where someone doesn't do that, so I've never kind of been confrontational with an employee or ran into that situation, but I think it's you get what you give, and so that's kind of how I run the businesses day to day. Drama-wise, I've probably dealt with something 1 or 2 times. It kind of goes during the interview and when I'm there on a day-to-day basis, saying that if there's anything wrong, there's kind of that follow-up question again. Hey, is there anything wrong with the salon going on that I don't know about? I sort of ask that to everyone, probably every quarter, like I said, when I'm in and out of the salon, just to make sure everything's okay. And if you go ahead and ask that, you know, people will speak up if it does bother them enough. But most of the time they handle it between themselves, or now the managers like we have at each store will handle that situation. And if they don't know how to handle a situation, if it's kind of more extreme, they'll come to us and ask us what we should do. That kind of comes from your staff too, so making sure people can talk to other individuals in the room. I think that's the most important thing, making sure that your estheticians do provide good customer service. There might be a one-off customer that had some type of bad service, addressing that issue first and foremost, but then also making sure your receptionists are saying hi, hello, bye when they're coming in and out of the salon. They're the first and last person to see anyone that comes in the salon, so making sure that they're doing their job as well, making sure they have customers happy with the service, rebooking, things like that. And just so basically everyone's personality needs to shine a little bit to make sure that the customer's happy. We also make sure that every customer gets the mirror at the end of the service so that they can double check that all their hair is removed, because that's obviously our main business. So having estheticians do that every single time and making that sure that's a habit leads to better customer service just because they get to double check that the work that they or service they got done is done properly. If you tell your estheticians that, hey, if you're paying for a $60 service, which is probably our average ticket, each salon's like right around there, $60 for a service, you're gonna want them to do it properly. It's like if I go in and get a haircut and my barber doesn't do it correctly, I wanna make sure it's done correctly. So I think if you put that mentality into your esthetician specifically, then they'll most likely do the checks with the mirrors and things like that. Making sure the whole salon's clean is kind of one thing that adds to customer service. You don't want to walk into a place where you're getting sugared and it's dirty everywhere. So making sure receptionists, the manager, and everyone's checking the common areas in each room on a weekly basis and daily basis for the common areas.
Let's see, as far as my team, I have a great team of girls. I think that they are fantastic, and I just feel like as far as having employees, you need to treat them as if they are human. That is number one. They are people, they have feelings. You have to treat them like you would want to be treated, and that same respect goes back and forth. If you respect them, they respect you. Now, they know that I don't take crap, but if you respect them, they respect you, and they will work hard for you. As far as my customers coming back, I think that they like the environment. I get a lot of that when people come back every month. So far, I think I've been open for 3 months. So I have clients that have come back for these 3 months, and they love the vibe. They love the girls. They love talking to the girls. They even have preferred girls at this point. I think it's the vibe. It's the energy that you put out there in your salon that will get you the clients keep coming back. I can't say that so far for these past 3 months that I've had a difficult situation with the girls as far as coming to work on time, being responsive to the guests. I can't really say that I had any conflicts as of yet. I think that they pretty much like me as a person, and they want to do as much as they can to please that position. You know, as far as days off and stuff like that, I make them feel comfortable in talking to me. And if you do that, I think that communication with them or being communicative with them will make them feel more comfortable in your authority versus you as a person. It's been going well. I did have maybe 2 customers complain. One was a little wacky. But the second one, she actually called Sugaring NYC, and she made a complaint, and I received it. I called her back, and we discussed the issue. And I told her it was, you know, I'm nice, but stern on the phone. I think that they see that. And I mean, it was resolved with just being communicative. I told her that I would, you know, I would honor her a discount if she would come back. If she decided not to come back, I understand that. It was resolved, and she was very happy and actually made another appointment.
So first off, what I do is I communicate daily through text, phone calls, talked to them multiple times already today. So text, phone calls, things like that. That's how we communicate. If they have a problem, the lockbox, for example, you know, they can FaceTime me and we can get that done. So FaceTime, text, phone calls, that's how I communicate with them. As far as being a male owner, I do tread lightly. I'm always absolutely number one respectful to all my employees. And I always make sure that no matter what, I want them to be happy at the end of the day. No matter what it is in life, I tell them, you know, you got to do what makes you happy. That's the end of the day goal, is for every girl to come in happy and, you know, leave happy. It is difficult, you know, being a male owner and working with all females, but like I said, I've gotten very lucky. The majority of girls are super chill. They're not too rowdy, but sometimes they can be. But it's a challenge, but I love it, and I wouldn't change anything. Andrea and I, we started doing the memberships. It's been a while. I was one of the test markets and been doing memberships, like I said, for quite some time. The people love them. We have a little plaque or, you know, little poster in the corner by the product shelf, and we have a lot of people wanting to sign up for the memberships. And again, that's word of mouth too, is, hey, my friend got a membership here, tell me about it. The girls really know how to pitch it. I've got to give a lot of the credit to them. None of them have any sales experience before they worked at my store, but they can sell. They can sell memberships, and they're very good at it. They know what to say, and they're not pushy. You know, some businesses, when it comes to sales, they really want to push and push. They mention it, and they give the benefits of it, and they do explain how it works, the recurring payments, things like that. So they're just very good at selling memberships. Definitely one of the successes at my store.
Part of being a good manager or a good owner is to understand your employees. And for us, we understand that sometimes they would move on. Of course, every single employee that we hire is a long-term investment for us. We train, we keep them, they get the book. So of course we want to keep them for as long as possible. But I also think it's important to understand that at some point they would want to go somewhere else, just because it's a pretty narrow niche in terms of just hair removal, and some of them would want to experience the facials, the makeup and other things. So we are always ready for it, in terms of we're always ready if somebody needs to move on or wants to move on and things like that. So I think having this understanding in your head kind of helps you structure your team and keeps you prepared for things, so you don't have 5 people quit on you at the same time, which of course you can't control. It can happen, but at least you have it in your mind that, okay, this person's been here for a year and a half, let's kind of start thinking and talking. And I truly believe in the communication. During those one-on-ones, that's when we talk. Okay, it's been a year, what are your plans, what are you thinking? You can't prevent everything with those conversations, but there's a lot of cues that you can pick up, or kind of get into what's going on in their head and what they're looking for, where they're going. And it's important to have those conversations in order to keep the team happy, or to have a good work environment for our employees. There's several things we do. The first one is we offer, on the first year anniversary of their 1-year anniversary, we offer 5 days of vacation, paid days of vacation. Those have to be accrued, but we do offer them. They don't seem to be as popular, but it's a good perk to have. We don't have a lot of employees actually using them. The other thing is I make sure that the utilizations level are high. So bringing the clients, making sure that they are busy, because if the employee is not busy, they get a little bit more time on their hands, and that can be beneficial or not. So we're trying to keep them as busy so they're making their money and we get the clients coming in. One other thing that we do to keep the team happy is we have Christmas bonuses. So we do those. They are based on the performance. I think a lot of times it's truly being available for them and being invested in them. Because if I get, for example, somebody who texts me from the Northville location saying I had trouble with an eyebrows, they know that they will get training on those eyebrows right away. Sometimes in summer they have to clean the whole store, and it's 8 o'clock at night and it's summer night, so me and Peter would come in and help them clean. It doesn't happen very often, but I think small things like that we do truly care how they feel. And again, it's not every day that we're able to do it, and it's not something that you should be expected to do, but little things like that. Or I had an employee, for example, in Warren, and she just moved in with her boyfriend. They just bought a house, so there's a lot of things going on, and I feel that she's drained, and we had one-on-one, and I feel like her head is not where it needs to be. So we get her a $100 bonus, and I put in the notes, just go get a massage. Don't think about it, because there's a lot with house expenses. This is just for you to go get things done. Again, are we doing it every month for every employee? Unfortunately not. Little things like that, I think they do matter. But I truly think that having that personal connection to them, because I hired them, I spend some time training them, and then afterwards when they are in the book, I do check in with them and make sure that everything is good, and they don't feel ever that they were just thrown into the rooms and just do a job. And with every single client who complains, I always talk to the esthetician first and just see what happened, what can we do better. I know it sounds like rainbows and puppies. There are times where it doesn't work out. There's times where we have tough conversations and tough decisions to make, but I think it's part of who you are as a business owner. So as long as you keep in mind that there's an expiration date, and then they do want something more eventually, and if they don't, that's okay, but if they do, just having an open door is super in terms of conversation, super helpful, because then you can plan, but again, it doesn't work out all the time. So everyone understands that yes, there's this amazing part of being a business owner and to connect with employees, but it also comes sometimes with, I don't want to say disappointment, but if you get too close, or you still want to make sure that you're their mentor and business partner, and this is a partnership versus other way around. So it's a very delicate balance where you don't want to get too close, because when they leave, you feel like, oh my God, I'll never be the same again, versus it's life and we're moving on. Also, one of the things is I think it's important when you hire. I know the profile by now. We've hired a lot of employees, not always works, but you kind of have a profile of who will be successful in the job, what qualities they should have to be successful in this job. So once you have that profile, then you can start hiring according, because you already have experience of who worked out and who did not, and what kind of traits of character they had that prevented them to work out. There's a very specific set of qualities that I'm looking for when I'm hiring. So they have to be outgoing. Sometimes if the person is shy during the interview, I conduct interview in two parts. First is we always meet virtually just to see if there's availability there, if there is a connection there, and then second part we meet in store. So I would love them to see the store, to see the rooms, to talk to the estheticians, because that's a decision they're making. I want them to be comfortable. So second part is always in store, where they can see the rooms and kind of get the vibe and environment that they will be in. So definitely somebody who's outgoing. So during the face-to-face, I always ask them 3 questions. First of all, just to measure if they know the aesthetics and skincare, what contraindications for waxing and sugaring. Then I ask them if the client is not satisfied with the service, what would you do? That gives me a little bit of insight in terms of their customer care, but also if they know about growth cycles, because it's super important when you sugar. So if the client says that not all the hair came up, if they can tell me that it's because your first time, or I'll ask them if it's the first time they've been sugared, then we're good to go. It means that the basic knowledge is there. And the third question I ask is, how would you treat a first time client or the client who you've been seeing for a while? And not in terms of treat them, but would you have a different approach to them? And then if the answer is yes, first timer, baby, I explain every single step. And then the second, if I've seen them a lot, I just catch up with them and they already know the process, then again, we're good to go. So that gives me an idea of how they will do with the customer service approach, and then if they're ready or not. So outgoing, if they have basic knowledge of skincare, and then if they know a little bit more to take care of the customers. And then the third time, I always ask them why sugaring. And if the answer is because it's pink cute, it's one thing, but if they say it's so much better for your skin, it's amazing for sensitive skin, it removes all the hair, you can go over multiple times, it adheres only to skin, not hair, that again gives me an idea that they actually researched and they want to be part of the team. Sometimes when you have to hire, you just have to look, is the person trainable? If they really can be trained, and if they can, for sure. But if it's somebody who is very shy, and the answer to the how would you treat the 2 clients is I don't know, I'll approach them the same, that's where I start to think, okay, will it be a good fit or not?
I think most of all is appreciation for my staff. I know I am not an esthetician myself, and I know without those girls, this business is not running and will not do what it does right now for me. So when I say that appreciation is key, I'm always recognizing what a great job they're doing. Work-life balance is extremely important to me. I feel like if the girls get their time with their families and friends, that they're going to come in and work just as hard for me, opposed to me saying, no, you can't have this off. No, you can't have this off. But with that said, I mean, I do let them take what they need within reason, obviously, and that depends on summer months. I have specific things in place and rules I have to follow for time off in the summer, because that's our busiest time, and that's where the money's coming in, and I really need to budget, all that money's coming in the summer. We're going to have some slow months coming up, because winter pretty much happens in September in New England, so happens fairly quickly. But with, again, back to the work-family balance, and I do have some restriction in the summertime with how much time they can take, and then throughout the year, as long as I have enough advance notice, usually I ask for a month. Summertime, I'm asking for at least 2 months notice, but throughout the year, as long as I know and I have a certain amount of rooms going, the girls are allowed to take that time off. But on top of that as well, I also, do extra things for them. I get every girl that works for me Christmas gifts every year. We do a Christmas dinner, holiday dinner, as well. For each one of their birthdays, we decorate every room, or their room, for that day, which helps. They love it. And then on top of that, their customers are handing them much bigger tips as well, which they appreciate when they know it's their birthday. And then, also when they do extra things for me, like if a girl's training one of my new sugaristas, I will put more money in their paycheck for them for that extra help for me. Anything from, if they're doing extra things on Instagram, the stories, more money's there. So I try to find ways to let them know that how much I appreciate them. Also, I've added some different things as far as commission for them now. I mean, beyond products, packages, I did implement this year is a tiered system based on how much revenue they're bringing in and the dollar amount of services each week. And it's a 3-tiered system from 3%, 5%, and 8%. The girls have loved that. At the end of the day, we all want to make money. And I want my girls to stay because, again, I know without them, my business will not be as good as it is. Yes, I do a lot on the back end, organizing and all that, but I'm not in the rooms with these customers. So without them, I wouldn't be where I am right now. You know, I'm not sure what other franchises do. I know, I think it was on our chat somewhere, someone asked about scheduling and they said it's hard for them to plan too far out the girls' schedules. I set the girls' schedules. Like, I don't say, okay, you work this Tuesday. If you don't want to work next Tuesday, we don't have to. My girls every week have a set schedule that is copied in Zenoti for the entire year. And then obviously they have days off. I go back in and fit them. But that only helps with rescheduling customers with the same person, you know, every 4 weeks, opposed to not knowing who's going to be in a couple months. My girls I try to give everybody at least 2 days off. Some of my girls have a few extra days off because they'd rather work a 9 to 8 shift in a couple of days opposed to working more days a week. That works out well. It's been successful with rescheduling, but I would definitely recommend having a set schedule for your girls. So my approach to customer service is I have many conversations with my girls. I expect when a customer comes in, they are called by their name. It's never, hey you, hey girl. I don't care if you've known them or not. First name customers. When you welcome someone in, when you're walking, you know, from the back hall to the front and you have customers up front, you have a smile on your face no matter what. You leave whatever's going on at home. You know, I tell them, fake it till you make it. I said, you need to be these customers' best friends because at the end of the day, we all want to make money. I want them coming back from you so that you can hit your commission tiers and get that money. And the day I want my business to do well and make that money. So it is so important that when that customer is there, that person is the only person that you are focused on, no matter what. Even if you've had a bad experience in the past with this customer, you fake it till you make it, and you make sure they come back in 4 weeks later or 5 weeks later.